Okay, we're on. Look, you know, like, children are just such blessings, and, you know, we've got little baby Jack here, and Janine, and this is a story about, like, I know we looked at the title, yeah, one of those, Jack. I looked at the title and we thought, like, what do we say? We're going to say thank you to Jack's sperm donor, because this is a story that about Janine, who, okay, you tell us your story. Tell us how it happened. I'll just keep ducking down and picking up the toys. Don't worry about that. We've got.
Oh gosh, where do I start?
So let's talk about when, okay, you've gone out with someone, you thought, you know, 38, like, you know, you wanted to have a child, like what sort of, how did you feel at that stage, you know, thinking that maybe you're never going to have a child, like you were in a relationship then?
I was, yes, I was 38, and I was dating somebody at the time who I had known since I was quite young, I suppose, like 18. We fell in love quite quickly and decided that we would try to have a baby. Nobody really knew at the time, I suppose, but yeah, we were trying for 6 months and nothing happened. And then one day I got home, so he didn't live with me, but we did spend all our time together. He had a key to my house and whatnot. And out of the blue, one day I got home and there was my house key on the bench and his bits and pieces were gone. And yeah, he just said that he didn't want that commitment. He thought it was what he wanted and he didn't want it. So completely left field, and I guess, yeah, completely heartbroken. I thought that that was my only chance to have a baby, to have a family, and completely devastated. So allowed myself to cry and feel sorry for myself, and then pulled myself together, and I thought, he can take away, you know, my dream, I suppose, of falling in love and having a baby with somebody, but he can't take away my dream of having a baby. So from there, yeah, I went and spoke to my doctor and got a referral to a fertility specialist. To be completely honest, I did do that for the first time when I was in my early 30s. I gave myself to 35 to have a baby. If I didn't have one by then, that I wasn't going to have one.
So you're already thinking about doing this regardless? Yeah.
I was in my early 30s and got the referral and held on to it for a long time and tore the referral up, and I thought, it's not something I can do on my own. It's not something I want to do and not something I'm strong enough to do. So after the failed relationship and trying to fall pregnant and not falling pregnant with my partner, I decided that, yeah, it's time to really look into this and give it a go. So I went back and, yeah, got that referral.
And I asked you, like earlier, we were just talking about, you know, there's a lot of women out there that think that they can't have a child. And the other thing that they believe too, that it's like out of their reach financially. Like, I know that I was misled that I felt that it was very expensive, like $40,000-$50,000 to go through that situation. Mm-hmm. But after having a conversation with you, you're saying it's around $10,000.
Yeah, but I think all up it was probably about 15,000. Yeah.
And the other thing that I think really tugged at my heartstrings, I think that's when I lost it, is when you said that your father, like, he'd paid for your siblings, like, when they got married.
He did, yeah. And he gave them each $10,000 to put towards their wedding. I never got married, and he's honestly, probably for the last 20 years, told me every single day that he's still got my wedding money put aside. And it was a massive thing for me to even admit that I had thought about doing IVF on my own. I hadn't told anybody. And when I decided to do it, I'm like, okay, I've got to sit down first of all and tell the family. And I lost so much sleep over it. I was completely anxious. I thought that everyone was going to think I was a failure. I thought that for some reason, I thought that I had failed. I think the first person I told was my sister, who's also my best friend and my support system, I suppose. And she was very supportive of it. And then I told Dad, and he cried. And the very next day, he transferred my wedding money into my account, and helped me.
Oh, that started it all.
Fulfill my dream. Yeah. So.
Wow, that's
Very,
beautiful.
very, very lucky.
And we were talking before that you had. You told me that you'd been to see the doctor and they'd found that you'd had endometriosis.
Yeah, so when I did go and have everything checked out, by this stage I was 39. I went in and had all the testing done, and she told me that I had endometriosis. The results showed that I did have endometriosis, and also given my age, she said to me that it's now or never. I don't have time really to think about it or to put it off or even to try and wait to meet somebody and have a baby conventionally. So yeah, it was at that very moment when she told me it's now or never, I made the decision. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it however I can and whatever it takes, and that was where it started. So
you've got the situation where your dad's given you wedding money.
Yeah.
You've found out that you had the endometriosis, so you're now with a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You're now going to the IVF clinic. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
And you're up to, how do you find a donor? Like, how does
Good
this
question.
happen? I'm just so inquisitive about the whole thing.
Oh, of course, yeah. And to be honest, it was always something, and anybody that knows me, I just couldn't ever talk about the donor. Like I was trying. It took me a very long time to get my head around it all. So you go on the waiting list for a donor. So I did that very day that I was told that I had to do it now. I would never ever have a baby. So went on the waiting list. Before you get to the top of the waiting list, you've got to tick some boxes. So get some testing done and things like that, and it's a necklace. And also go through some counselling. So.
And does everyone have to do the counselling?
Yeah, as a single person going through IVF.
Right. So there's it's a common thing.
Yeah, so honestly, I thought that I was the only person in the world that had ever even contemplated having a baby on my own. I was a little bit
Well, you would
naive
think
about
that, wouldn't you? Like,
I felt really alone. I can't tell you how much sleep I lost. I can't tell you how many tears I cried. I felt so alone. And then I had spoken to a friend maybe 18 months prior, and she had sort of mentioned that she was thinking about doing it, and I hadn't seen her since, and I reached out to her and I thought, I wondered if she did it. So I reached out to her and she said meet me for a coffee, and I did, and she was 6 months pregnant, and she did it.
wow.
And it was just a conversation with her that I knew this was my journey. This was for me. So from there I went, and she said come along, there's a support group, so an IVF support group for single women, and that was the best thing. So I did this. I went to the group before I started the process as such, and yeah, certainly not alone like I thought, and a lot of beautiful girls in the same situation. So that was really reassuring for me in a way. Like I felt like I'd found a place. Yeah.
So that, at least that way you can connect with other women that are going through a similar thing.
Yeah.
So you're not really on your own there. You've got a great
not at all.
support group.
Got a great,
And they're all going through the same things. So there's things that common ground that you can talk about and get your handy hints from.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're a wealth of knowledge, and just to know that they're normal. They're normal people. They they haven't failed. They've succeeded in so many ways, and some of them had gone through and had babies, so they had their babies there. Other people had just, like myself, started the journey. Other people had been trying to have a baby for 18 months and were still unsuccessful. So there were lots of different scenarios, but lots of stories to be told.
So I'm still inquisitive about how do you pick a donor? And I'm sure my viewers are going to be saying, how does this happen?
Exactly.
This is so new age. But it's so amazing that everyone has equal opportunity
Yeah.
to have a baby. Like, that's the most beautiful
It's
part about it. Like, you do not have to be in a relationship. You can be on your own and give a beautiful life to a little bubba, like, and have that
Definitely.
child. So,
yeah. For me, being that I knew that he was, going to be a little bit different to my niece and my nephews, in the fact that he doesn't have a dad per se. So it was important to me to find somebody a little bit, in a way, generic looking, similar to my family with blonde hair, blue eyes or whatnot. So you get access to the donor list, and to be honest, that's kind of like internet dating, I suppose. You see a baby photo of them, and then you see all the information about them, so family history, what they like to do, what they like to eat, education levels.
oh wow, so
Things
much
like-
detail.
Yeah, so
Wow.
there's some donors on there that choose not to donate to single women as well, which fair enough, that's their choice. So you go through. It took me a long time to build up enough courage to actually even open it, to be honest, and weeks went by and I still hadn't done it. A bit overwhelmed, I suppose, by the whole process. And I was sitting out for lunch with one of my best friends and explained to her, like, I'm so nervous, Stacey, I can't do this. And she's like, yes, you can. Come on, we're going home and we're going to have a look at it. And we're going to go through it together. And her and
wow.
her husband and we sat down and we went through. And yeah, I ended up choosing one.
That day with them?
No, I went home and thought about it and revisited, I think, the next day and decided on one donor, and just wasn't settled on it, I suppose. I can't say what it was, sorry. I can't say, it just, something didn't feel quite right. So I rang the donor team, and once you pick a donor, you don't have access to the website again, so you couldn't go back on and have another look. So I rang them and I was in tears and I'm like, I just don't know, I don't think I can do this.
So once you choose that person,
Yeah.
so you can't say, oh no, I think I was second thought, so I don't want him to have dark hair, or
Yeah.
so you can't do that. You can't go back and
No,
choose,
so once you make your decision, if you want access back to the website, you can do, but then you have to let that donor go. And she said to me, there's a new lot being uploaded this afternoon. I'll give you access to it and you can have a look. And yeah, it was really I read through and I found this donor and I'm like, oh wow, baby photo, really cute baby. Read through all his information and all just ticked all the boxes in a way. But the thing that really got me was the fact that he'd put in a beautiful letter, and he'd put in a beautiful letter to obviously the child, to Jack now, I suppose, and it really touched me. He basically said that he wants the baby to know that he's still made with love,
Aww.
that his mum really wanted him, and basically just explore the world and make the most of every day and chase your dreams, and magic happens, which it has for me. So it was just a really nice letter, and as soon as I read it, I was like, yep, that's it. And that's when that moment is when I really started to get excited about it.
And the other thing too, he wrote that he wanted to meet the baby, like he wouldn't mind meeting the baby when they turn 18.
That's right, yeah. So they can choose when the baby turns 18 whether or not they wish to be contacted or would be allowed to make contact with them. Some had, and the previous donor did say no, whereas this one said yes. And in the letter wrote that if he's got any questions or there's anything that he wants to know, or if he wants to meet him, or he will be involved in his life as much as he wants him to be, which I'm completely all for. So for me, that was just
It's just beautiful, isn't it?
It felt like it was meant to be, and it still
felt
does.
Right.
It felt right, yeah.
So does that mean that you could go back to that donor and have another child if you?
Yes.
Because I know that we were talking about the fact that, the question was asked that was it really lonely for you being pregnant? You know, because you're on your own without a partner and without the daddy. But there are a lot of mums out there also that are in that position as well, that have a pregnancy and perhaps something has happened to the father.
Yeah, that's right.
So how did that go for you? Were you lonely? That was the question that we asked.
I honestly put it off for a very long time for that reason. I thought that being pregnant alone was going to be lonely, and I thought that being a mum on my own was going to be lonely, and I actually thought it was going to exacerbate those feelings. So I put it off for a long time, and I had a lot of people tell me, oh, you sure this is what you want to do? Like, you're never going to sleep again. It's stressful, it's hard work. But honestly, I felt more lonely when I was by myself, laying in bed every night with anxiety, panic attacks, crying, thinking that I was never ever going to get the chance to be a mum. So to me, no. Being pregnant, I never ever felt lonely, and since having him, there's no way. Like, it's just the most beautiful thing. I never ever, from the minute I found out I was pregnant, I never felt lonely, but I can honestly say that I'm lucky that I've got a beautiful, close family that have been by my side 100% all the way. But also too, I found some really beautiful friends, and even work colleagues, absolutely incredible during the process. And I felt like everybody kind of stepped up and did actually want to help me. So if anything, it brought me closer to a lot of people that I didn't expect it to as well. So yeah, in answer, no, definitely didn't feel lonely.
And like, what's been the absolute highlight of being a mum for you?
Oh, just him. Oh, I can't tell you. I feel the happiest I've ever been. I feel like I've got a purpose. Watching him laugh, watching his beautiful eyes, look, like the whole thing. I just love him. Look, it's
How could you not love him? Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's all, it's been amazing, honestly.
And you said to me, that was another thing we were saying off camera previously, that you would even consider going and doing this again.
Yeah, I would. I only ever wanted one baby, and you know, when I went through the process, I'll be, again, very honest, I was more scared of it working than it not. I was absolutely petrified.
Really?
Of being a mum, could I do this? Full of self-doubt. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do? And then I thought, no, I'll have him, you know, like, and one baby, that'll do me, this is it. And I've just honestly fallen so in love with him. I'm luckier than I ever have been, but again, I'm very aware of time. Obviously my age and the endometriosis and whatnot, like, I was very lucky to have him. So, would be open to, and like something that I do think about. Whether or not I will, I don't know yet, but yeah, it definitely is something that I think about. And either way, to be honest, like, I think if I don't and I have Jack, I'm happy if I do go again, and yeah, I'd be happy. So I think I'm lucky in that way, that it is win-win.
Did you find out the sex of Jack before? Like,
I did, yeah. Yep. So for me, I don't know, because I did do it on my own, I was really anxious, I suppose. And for me, I just, at 10 weeks, you can now get what's called a harmony test. I think it's got a few other names. It's a blood test, and it actually tests the baby's DNA through your blood. So it also checks for any problems with the baby's health and whatnot beforehand, but it also, it's 99.9% accurate, I think, for testing the baby's sex.
And this is at 10 weeks.
At 10 weeks.
Wow.
So
wow.
I think for me, I was just so, I don't know why, but yeah, I wanted to find out what sex he was. I was convinced it was a girl. Not that I wanted either, like, as in, didn't mind if it was a girl or a boy. For some reason, something in me just thought, and then when they said it was a boy, I'm like, wow. And from then on, yeah, it was.
And his name, like, did that just come to you, or did you? has it got meaning or?
Yeah. Choosing names really hard, and I've thought about this for a long time, and I read books and searched the internet, and how I came to call him Jack was it's my dad's friend, but it's also one of my friends. We have coffee regularly and dinners and whatnot, and he's 88 years old, and his name's Jack O'Brien, and he's the most beautiful man. He's such a gentleman, and he's so kind, and he's, just the most beautiful man. So, and I thought, Jack, I really like that name. It's a strong name, suits a baby, it suits an adult, and it just kind of stuck with me. So Jack was his first name, and I thought about all these different middle names, and then my dad's name's Alan, so he's Jack Allen.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and as soon as I went through so many different names, and as soon as I was like, Jack Allen, that's it.
And you didn't, it's not like you had anyone to say, oh, I don't like that.
No, I don't want that.
That was the beauty of it. You could just name him whatever you wanted.
Yep.
None of these arguments. Like, you hear some of these arguments that go on over the child's name. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you didn't have that at all. So does Jack know that he's named after him? Like
yes.
Yeah, so he would have been honoured with that, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So when we go out for coffee, it's Jack, and one's 7 months old and one's 88, and they
And
would
you make that decision that you would always tell Jack from the beginning, or was
definitely,
that, so you'd be honest with him up front about as he's growing up and then contact the donor?
I will tell him from as soon as he is old enough to kind of understand. I don't want it to be anything that he feels he or I should be ashamed of, or should be hidden or anything like that. And I'm a very open, honest, upfront person. So to me,
And hopefully by then, it will be just so well known that there won't be any barriers there for anyone that wants to have a child. Like, it'll just be an easy way of doing it. So many people will know about it, and it will give great access to women to be a mother for those that actually think that they could never have that beautiful opportunity. Like, I'm a mum, and I couldn't imagine, it's just everything that goes with being a mum, a grandmother.
I never expected it. Honestly, it's exceeded all my expectations.
Yeah, and it obviously thrilled to pieces with being a mum.
Yeah.
And
he's not a great sleeper, so it's I'm getting...
Now she's sounding like a real mum.
But it doesn't matter,
That's it, it doesn't matter.
I think I feel very lucky that I know that I got to a point where he's what I really wanted, and there's no doubts, and
And a beautiful sperm donor.
There's a man out there that I do not know that has given me the most precious gift, and I'm just so blessed and so lucky.
I'll say that you found...
And I do. I would like to meet him one day to say thank you. It's really important.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So Janine, if there's a woman out there right now, she's watching this show, and she hasn't had a child, she just ever so much wants to have a baby, wants to be a mummy, what would you say to her? What would your message of hope be for that woman now? What would you say to her?
Don't let fear stop you. Do it. Honestly, if I can do it, if I could do it, anybody can. I was so scared. I was so anxious. I was so frightened, and somebody said to me, don't let fear get in your way. You've got to step out of your own way, and that really has sort of rung true to me and stayed with me. Just step out of your own way and just do it. You've got one life, and you deserve it. You deserve it. Everybody deserves, this feeling, and just...
So if someone wanted to start the ball rolling, what's the very first thing that you do?
Go to your GP and get a referral to a fertility specialist. Personally, I went through Dr. Sue Winsby, and I can't recommend her highly enough. She's amazing.
That's here in Newcastle?
Here in Newcastle.
Where at what hospital?
Newcastle Private Hospital.
Newcastle Private Hospital?
Yeah, she was really good. And then through IVF Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, but she gets you, or whoever you go to will get you into.
So would it also be a good idea if someone was wanting to pursue that they contact an IVF support group and talk to someone that's going through it, maybe just to have that reassurance? Or
Absolutely. As I said, I joined this support group. We meet once a month, and definitely, even if you're even thinking about it, it's always good to go to those meetings and just see other women that have gone through it, are going through it, bounce ideas and feelings and emotions and whatnot off each other. There is one of the counsellors runs it, so she's a wealth of knowledge as well, so it's really good, sort of.
So how many are in your group?
Gosh, there's probably about 20, I suppose, but every meeting's different, so sometimes
how many of them would be on their own?
Oh, all of them. It's a single women's IVF.
Oh, really?
Group. Yeah, so we're all in exactly, some...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking anyone that's gone through IVF, is in this group, and that's amazing.
So, it did it. It was really fun.
I am in shock.
Yeah.
I'm like, how long has this been going on and I didn't even know about it?
Yeah, and I was the same when I went there. It was just like, it's okay.
Yes, it is
and
okay.
It was really nice just to talk to other girls in similar situations. Everybody's obviously got their own story to tell. Some younger, a lot a similar age to me, but there's some women that are 30 that just decided that that's what they want to do, or for health reasons, for a number of reasons.
I'm blown out by the numbers.
Yeah.
I've had this visual not many people do it, not many people even know about it.
And the more people I talk to, the more people are like, oh yeah, my friend did that, or yeah, my cousin did that, or so it is quite common, which was very surprising to me. As I said, I honestly believed that I was the only person that was even thinking about it.
Wow, that's just incredible. That's just amazing. So, don't give up no matter what. And I know that's what the show's all about, not to give up, So this is truly a message of hope. Don't give up. If you feel that you wanted to be a mum and, certain things have happened, and let's have Jack to say goodbye on the couch. Yeah, let him say goodbye on the couch. Our youngest couch member. Yeah,
Baby
little Jack. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yes, a little Bubba.
Hey.
So I'd like to say thank you to the beautiful people that have joined in tonight. So we have Clinton Graham, Bindi Stevens, Susan. Hi, Susan Adams. Hey, beautiful girl. Ian Edwards, Trudy McGovern, Shireen Smith, hello beautiful, Annette Ray, Rochelle Russell, Jonathan Hopkins, Wayne Lennon, thank you, Ellie Cat, Tegan Smith, Millie Deadman, Shireen Lowe, hi Shireen, hi Brisbane, I know I should be there right now, but I'm not, but I'm there in spirit. Hi Shireen, Lauren Zonefeld, thank you Lauren, Karen Wood, Jodie McCarter, Ashley Campbell, Mel Robertson, and many, many more, because we had to leave and take Jack for a little walk, so the names are rolling up and continuing on. So thank you everyone so much for joining in tonight, and hopefully this is a message of hope to some beautiful woman out there, knowing that you too can do it. You can go and have a baby.
You don't have to share.
And you don't have to share, and you don't have to worry about who's going to name them. That's the most awesome part. Hey, beautiful boy. So it's good night from Janine. It's good night from baby Jack, our youngest member on the couch. And it's good night from me. And thank you everyone for joining in. And know that no matter what in life, you're all going to be okay. So it's a thumbs up from us. Can you get one thumb up? Yay!